You ever get so angry and disappointed with yourself you just want to go off and die? But not just, die by, killing yourself, but rather killing so many enemies until they kill you. Suicide by leaping into a mob and just letting them tear you to shreds. Well, you do. If you've had these morbid thoughts before, then firstly, you should go to a psych ward. And secondly, maybe being a dwarven slayer is for you. These guys are shunned by their ancestors and forced to strip rank and just charge out there pretty much butt naked to just kill in the name of the ancestors until they're dead. Now on paper seems very, very bad, but they're actually really effective in Warhammer, and their king, which is the subject of today's guide, Ungrim Ironfist, the Slayer King, is probably one of the most powerful melee lords in the game. Of course, he's not the most powerful, but him being the Slayer King, he buffs up his Slayers a lot, and he's really fun to play. Just for he's always searching for the best way to get his death, and the granddaddy of all Slayers from Warhammer Fantasy, Gotrek, and his trusty Imperial friend Felix are he's always searching for his well-tuned death, and it seems like the Dwarven god of war, Grimnir, just keeps keeping him going forward. And y'all know me, I love dwarves. They're probably one of my favorite fantasy races, and in Warhammer, that goes without question as well. They're also a really powerful race in Warhammer 3, still living up to their standard from Warhammer 1. And for this week's guide, I decided I was going to go back and look at Thorgrim's angry red-headed cousin, Ungrim Ironfist. So I hope you enjoy this guide, and remember to leave a like, comment, maybe chuck me your sub, just if you like these guides and want me to create more. I am strapped for time, but I always do my best to keep on this right schedule, and I think I've been doing well so far. So let's get into the guide.
To die in battle.
Yes, indeed, Ungrim. It is so glorious to die in battle. Can I join you? Can I strip you? Anywho, so welcome, Strat fans. It's me, Colonel Strat, Strategy Extraordinaire here, and today, gonna take a look at my red-haired ginger dwarf boy, Ungrim Ironfist. So Ungrim starts pretty close to where you start for the original, for Thorgrim. Carrot Kadrin is more north, but still we're going to be dealing with a lot of orcs up here. Orcs, and I think there's like Draco over here and the vampires. Not really many not any chaos dwarves, but we will deal with chaos a little bit earlier than Thorgrim, whereas Thorgrim deals with pretty much straight orc. Anyway, for his faction effects today, he has a recruitment cost minus 75% for Slayer buildings, 50% for Slayer units, 75% for construction, 10% speed for infantry units, which is big for the dwarves, really big. It gives them a lot more speed, and the dwarves suffer from speed really heavily. It's going to be a big way to counter a lot of enemy fast units with your fast dwarf units. His lord effects, though, he has 25% a quarter reduction for his Slayer units, melee attack +5 for Slayer units, and a passive ability, Journey's End, for Slayer units, which means up to hit point 75%, no entity in the unit will die. So I mean, it was debuffed. It used to be 50%, and it was really, really insane. And he can also upgrade it to add other effects to it, I believe, in his tree. And he can make them really powerful. So his regular Slayers here, they have Unbreakable, and then they have, of course, Death Blow, which gives them increased weapon damage until their hit points are less than 20%. And then, of course, like all dwarves, they have a high spell resistance. He actually starts with a decent army too, with Thunderers and with Iron Drakes, with Trollhammer torpedoes. So he does have a pretty nice arsenal when he starts. And his effects really start to buff up his endgame units, especially Slayers. And as you see, he can really utilize Slayers, but I don't think they really become that much of an endgame unit. So as you get into the endgame, you'll be using them more as a specialized troop whereas in the early game you'll be using him as your main. So let's get into the campaign and show you all about the the angry dwarven ginger lad.
Slayers, it is time to fulfill your oaths made in Carrick Cadrin.
It is time, my king. So yeah, this is how he starts. So he's pretty much similar to, because he's one of the base game for Warhammer 1 Dwarf Lords, but he does have some unique grudges now, so that gives him his unique runes and some oath gold. Again, they use the same systems as the other ones, but he has the Red Eye Grudge. He has the Queen of Evil Grudge, which gives him this Master Rune as well. He has the Haunted Hold Grudge, which gives him this Master Rune, which is insane, more melee attack. And then he's got the Blood Drinker Grudge as well, which is win 3 battles against Sylvania. And it gives him a pretty decent weapon strength against anything foul. The Get Off My Chuffing Land Grudge as well, with Castronarch's Lair. That's just a regular grudge he gets, and then a new mission right there. So that's just, to take this one here for this grudge. So they all start with their own unique grudges now. And they do start in like a grumbling severity, so that they'll be able to, but you want to get them down to satisfied so that they can, get a whole bunch of research rate. These changes were brought to the dwarves in the late game of Warhammer 2, so really goes to show how far they've come. Now he starts with a runesmith. These are really good heroes to have, primarily because he can buff up their armor and their weapons, and you'll want to do these two all the time. As well as getting this helps get you some more oath gold. And these runes, the ones you're going to want to look for is Rune of Speed for the dwarves, Rune of Oath and Steel, which is an armor buff. I think it goes up to, I think the overcasted version is 60, yes. And then Rune of Wrath and Ruin is an explosion. That was pretty good. Rune of Slowness is on the enemy. That's also really good. Forge Fire, always a good passive ability to have, because you have, minus 15 armor. Any minus armor debuff is helpful. Rune of Breaking, it's a nice one. It gives you sundered armor attacks, which reduce your armor by 30% on the contact, by 30 on a contact. Rune of Negation, which is a big flat damage reduction buff. I think the overcasted is, no, it's not. It's just extended effect. Rune of Hearth and Home, which is, I believe it's a vigor. Yeah, that's what I thought. It was a vigor one. And then, but you want to focus on these two for the army, because you can get up to 15 more armor by each of these uses. And then oh wait, no, I think they modified it. Now you go to 5% and 5% and 5 armor. It still helps though. It still helps. How it used to work is it was 5, 10, 15, which kind of sucks, but it's still pretty decent, and it can help out, because especially with the Slayers, because they have no armor, but they are shielded by 30% for small arms fire because of their whirling axes. So yeah, they have Journey's End and Death Blow and all that. So we're gonna fight this guy right here. Pretty easy first battle with Ungrim. Alright, and then the dwarves, they get two different options. They kill captives to get oath gold, or they can go drink to victory, which gives you a local province buff. I usually go with this in the early campaign, just so that you can get that growth and that income. The growth is really insane because the dwarves, they suffer intensely from growth problems. So you're going to want to get that growth whenever you can. Alright, and then we're going to take here to wipe a grudge off. And then, there we go. And then occupy. Now we have our pass secured and one grudge taken off, as well as some oath gold in our bank. We start with the Slayer Shrine, which gives us unlocked recruitment of Slayers. We can get Giant Slayers, which are a tier 3 unit. They're really good. They have a high armor piercing strength because they're a great axe. And of course, you want to get this for the corruption reduction and the rank for all Slayer units. But I usually accompany it with, for Ungrim, I usually accompany it with a siege workshop, so I can get some gunpowder units out. And first units we'll recruit are going to be Slayers, of course. Slayers, even though they're a tier 2 unit, so they are definitely better than miners to have. Even though they're tier 2, they still have they still don't have a lot of armor, so they don't do as good as other dwarf units in the early game. But Ungrim can buff them up insanely as he gets up. So for Ungrim, you kind of have to play it by ear for his technology, because the dwarves have two different ways to go about their technology. They have the civil tree, which is you get all the big bonuses to income, like these ones, and some growth bonuses. And then you have the army tree, where you get like armor bonuses and training bonuses and leadership bonuses and stuff. So for Thorgrim, it's pretty much certain that you have to go for the military one because you have so many enemies. You have Scarbrand down there. You have the Chaos Dwarves over here. You have Skarsnik. You have what's his name? That Skaven dude that everyone dislikes. Tretch. You have Tretch. You have all the orcs down here, the Darklands and Scrag over here. But for Ungrim, you have just one major enemy, and that's this guy right here, the Bone Rattlers and Azag. That's your main enemy. I mean, yeah, you have the Silver Pinnacle. They aren't, you have the Silver Pinnacle, but other than once you completely take these guys out, you're pretty much just going to have to take out, Azag, and then you're going to be alright. So I usually go with a little bit of income base. I'll do these two, and then I'll do Gather the Throngs and get interlocking shields and all that, so I can get some dwarf shield units. But the thing is, I'm going to be using Slayers, so I'm really not going to get much from anything, except when I go down here, get like buffs for that. But I'm not going to get any armor buffs for my Slayers, and then not like they really need it, not like they really need it. Now for Ungrim's first couple levels, now he has Deathblow here. You can get Determined Deathblow, which gives him this passive ability, or you can get Extremely Daring Deathblow, gives him this passive ability, which gives him physical resistance plus 30%, armor piercing 50%, base weapon damage 50%. Now, it's pretty, I'd say it's pretty much a done deal which one you're going to get, because this one only gives you that much, and it's enabled if 50%, if hit points are less than 50%. This one gives you a whole bunch more, but it's only enabled when Ungrim is at 20%, so you're not going to want to get him that low. It really is pick your poison, because they're both decent, but to be honest, I usually go safer, because I'm not going to try to get Ungrim that low, so I usually go for this, and then you have to choose one of these. You can do the Great Green Nemesis, Unaliving Host, or Ruinous Rival. And again, the Great Green Nemesis, you're not going to be facing a lot of orcs early on, and you're not really going to be facing a lot of, vampires early on either. So I usually go Ruinous Rival for the first one as well, because, this just buffs up Ungrim. This just buffs him up, personally. But he does get Doomseekers, which increases the casualty replenishment rate, and adds a whopping 30% charge bonus for Slayers, which includes himself. Slayer, which gives him more stuff, and then you can get Slayer King, which gives him more melee attack to his Slayer units. Dragon Slayer, which gives him plus 10 bonus versus large to his Slayers and 15 to himself. Or Demon Slayer, which gives him 15 melee attack when fighting against Warriors of Chaos, Norsca, and Demons. So it really is, Ungrim can specialize himself to fight different factions. This is why I play normally with the double skill point mods, just because I like to have all of these bonuses. It makes Ungrim really, really unstoppable, because he could just specialize to fight everything. And then he's got the normal tree down here, his normal melee tree, and you want to try to get some points into this to max it out, especially in Grimnir's Heirs, so that you can get more melee attack and weapon strength for your Slayers. And that's pretty much it. For his starting, you want to get the Ruinous Speed, like I said, so you can unlock runes. I don't think you get to unlock this until rank 5, and then he'll get Hardened Armor, which will buff up some armor on these guys, and the weapon strength as well, which is going to be good. Alright, and that's pretty much how you start the first turns. What you want to do is consolidate Peak Pass, or what is this? This gun. Oh, the Rib Peaks. Consolidate Rib Peaks. You have Skarsnik down here, so you may want to fight him, but it depends on you. You want to look out for Azag, because he could become a problem if he takes out these ogres too fast. But usually I take these guys out, and then I'll go take Azag out, and then I'll kind of wait and see who attacks me first, see if the Silver Pinnacle attacks, or if Skarsnik does, and I'll take them out respectively. And then you just kind of sit there and wait for an enemy to attack you, because, you know, you're not going to be getting many enemies. The vampires usually rise up and try to attack, and they'll attack Zufbar, and by the time they attack Zufbar, I take that personally, and that's a grudging. So I have to go after them. So that's pretty much what you're going to do. And for the first, for the first commandment, I do empower the guilds for that growth bonus. The trade resources is always nice as well, and the construction cost is a benefit. So I usually go empower the guilds. Always do empower the guilds when you're building up your settlements, well, your provinces, just because the dwarves suffer with so much growth. Any growth bonus you can get is worthwhile. So now that I've showed you how to start the campaign, I'm going to show you a couple army compositions, and I'll play through the campaign as normally, though I will be using a mod like I usually do, just to speed things up. So if some of the enemies don't have tier units that make sense, that's why, but I'm just going to be doing it just so I can show you the army tier. So let's go into the first tier. Alright, and here we are with the tier 1. So when we start, we're going to go up against Azag here. We actually caught him at the perfect moment because they're both level 7. Azag has quite a bit of magic, but he doesn't have that many spells. He's only got 2. One that buffs his army and one that is a direct damage spell. He does have Curse of Gaze him to Gash though too, so he's only got a few. He does have this shaman who has Gaze of Mork and Edbutt, which is again a good one. But other than that, he doesn't have that many good units. He's got some trolls, got a grudge lobber. The reason why this looks like this is because the mod makes it like this, but they're still full. They're full armies. They're all pretty full out. He's lost a little bit of health on these guys, but other than that, they're pretty full armies. So it should be an even fight, and we're up against him in the underway, so it's going to be nice. So for our setup, I have our runesmith. He has a few of his runes unlocked, which is going to be great for us. We also have our slayers. We have 8 slayers for our main line. They are buffed up a little bit as well through the red line, and some of Ungrim's good abilities on his special yellow line. We have our Iron Drakes with Troll Hammer Torpedoes. We have our Thunderers still, and then we have some Quarrelers that we've added. And then we also have 4 Grudge Throwers, which is our base siege artillery. So all dwarf factions are going to use artillery, but Ungrim just uses a different type of melee troop compared to others. So Slayers also have a special ability that when they die for Death Blow, they they die and they do a lot of damage in an arc around them. So you're going to see some of that as well. So Azag has Azag's Wall, which is not as good of a wall as others, but you can cause terror. But these guys are unbreakable, and these guys are resilient, and they have a high leadership too, so I doubt that it'll break any of our guys. Alrighty, and here we are on the field of battle. So one great thing about the dwarves is that even their early game artillery still have way more range, because 440 range is insane. We can still reach the entire enemy army by the time that they start, so we'll be able to do a lot of damage to them and pick out the strong targets to soften them up. And a lot of enemy forces are not going to be joining this battle. See, I crashed the first time. I don't know why. Maybe the mod is causing it to crash. But on the second load up, I went around to just strike Azag's army first. And have his little reinforcing army come up, but he was unfortunately distracted by the vampire counts this time, and he was pulled a little ways away from his settlement. So I'm not fighting 3, I'm only fighting 2. Him and this little army coming in. So it's going to be a lot easier of a fight because I only have him, but he still has enough Winds of Magic, and he still has his forces. So let's go right onto it. So I'm going to pause real quick, and we're going to pick some strong targets to destroy. Yeah, the Spider Raiders have the poison, so we need to pick them. Alright, and I'm going to use... Yeah, I knew they were going to use that. That's okay. Yeah, we need to get some power down on their rock lobbers too. So I need to figure out how to get These guys moved up just a little bit. Alright. Attack the Orcs. Alright, and then we'll do a Rune of Wrath and Ruin on the Error Boys. These guys focus on the, what are they called? Nasty Skulkers.
It is a reckoning! Fire on the foe! Get him! Move! Pursuit! Get! Fight! Obey me!
That did a little bit, but not a whole lot. Yeah, we're starting to get a little down. Go after Azag. Let's get him. All right, we are outlasting them though, but our Slayers will fight to the very end. So, while it is good that they're fighting to the end, they're going to literally die. Like, fight until they die, you know?
Nothing can stop us! Pick your targets well! Get him! Shoot the Wild Axe!
Wait, no. Oh, yeah, actually.
Death on him! Good thrower! Stop! This won't misfire! Aye, as you command! Oh, then I'll get him!
Alright, get him. Let's go get him.
Catherine will march! Warriors! Get them!
Oh, completely wiped out.
Warriors! Vengeance! Kill them! Have them! Slayers! Ungrim Ironfist! For the high thing!
Yeah, we're losing a lot of Slayers here.
Warriors!
That's the drawback and the benefit from Slayers. They never rout, so you're always going to have them. But they literally die. So that's why later in the game you start to want to, you know, use them as an amplifying troop, because they don't do as well just by themselves. But, you know, we still only lost 2, but we'll probably be 3 counted dead. So still did pretty well, because we were able to just completely destroy them. But that's what they do, you know. Slayers they want to die. All right, we killed Azag. He's nothing but a heat now. All right, and it's a Pyrrhic victory. All right, let's see how we did. So we took 475 losses, but we killed quite a bit more of them. So it still was a decent victory. But you know, of course, because the Slayers, they want to die. That's what's going to happen. So now that we've wrapped this up, let's go on to a tier 2. I'll meet you guys on the tier 2 side. Alright, and here we are with a tier 2. Now, unfortunately, I could not avoid a siege battle for this one, unfortunately. But, so I'm going to be fighting the Lamian Sisterhood here. Against them is my army. So I still have Slayers, because at this point in the game, Ungrim just buffs his Slayers up so much that, like, 61 weapon strength is insane. because if you can speed through the technology tree and get the Slayer ones, or like the mastercrafted weapons and all that, you're going to be getting a lot of bonuses to this. Plus, he has bonuses to him, and they also get veterancy a lot because they're killing a lot of things. So yeah, they're really good. So even regular dwarf tier 2 units just don't, like, this is double the weapon strength. So Ungrim's melee line is pretty much going to be attack first, defend later. But I've upgraded my my missile line to be that of Thunderers, which is always great. And then of course we have cannons. You know, we also had a couple of heroes. A Thane is a really good melee support hero to help thin out and kill enemy heroes like this vampire or this necromancer or other big entities. And then we have our engineer to help the back line really amp out their missile damage. But also, I've also gotten a couple rune banners. These are really good to get with Oath Gold, and I use them a lot in campaign to try to amplify my units up. It sucks that you can only recruit like one of each. You only have one of each in your auxiliaries, but it always is nice to have. So I have the Master Rune of Valea here, which gives 50% more spell resistance to a unit and perfect vigor. I'm going to give that to one of my most elite slayers, so that he has more spell resistance and he has perfect vigor. And then my Rune of Sanctuary, which gives more spell resistance and physical resist, I'm giving to another elite slayer, so that he has more physical resist and, again, more spell resist. So this one here is 85%. It's insane. So we're going to launch this battle, and you know, it's a siege battle, so you know, just bear with me. But you know, once we snipe the Vampire Lord and you know, the Necromancer as well, which I don't think the Vampire does. He only has access to these two buffing spells. What about and he has access to them as well, so they don't have any damaging spells. All right, so let's go up against this, and then I'll see you on the field. All right, and here we are with our tier 2 battle, our siege battle. Now the balance of power is heavily in my favor because most of their units are damaged and a lot of them are really shit units, whereas mine are heavier tier. So my plan is for this one is to charge this gate. There's going to be a couple towers. I'm going to break them down with my cannons, and then we're going to have this gate overrun and just go through there and take the point here, and then, you know, go through the city. Hopefully the enemy's on this side and not that side. So, you know, this is the easier side to attack anyway. So again, we have our Slayers up in the front. I'm going to have, of course, these two Slayers are going to be my most prominent ones. These two on the side, because they're going to go on those sides. And then, of course, we have our Trollhammer Torpedoes back here, the Iron Drakes. And then we have our Thunderers here. And then on the back, our cannons are going to do wonders. And then in the front, we have Ungrim and his Thane. I always like the look of the Thanes. They just looked so good. I always love the look of their models. It's just insane. It's very, very Norse inspired. And then the Runesmith and the Master Engineer are in the back to buff the troops. And the Runesmith's probably going to go up with the main army because he's going to be using his Rune of Oath and Steel to, you know, try to spam that and give the Slayers some cover fire, because they don't have, you know, they only have a little bit of missile resist. So let's get into the battle. All right.
It is an order. Gosh! Get up there! It is a reckoning! Yes, Lord! Fight! Yes! They have wronged us! Hunt the axe! Move now!
I don't see any towers over on this side. That might be a cheat. Oh Jesus, we already broke the gate. Okay.
Yes! We'll guard it! Have at them! The axe Slayers!
Alright, well I guess we already broke it. Let's see if we can reach them from this side. I doubt it. The cannons are not exactly known for that. That's okay. That's okay. Just get the cannons in there. We'll get these guys up here.
We stay put. Range far, range fast. Thunderers, climb. Get your beards up there. Veterans. Off we go. On my oath, they die. For of vengeance.
Alright, we need to just keep on killing. Keep on killing. Yeah, we've killed quite a few already. Let's get our rune of oath and steel here to boost up our slayers here with some more armor. Yeah, he's got to pump those dwarven legs. Alright, slayers, get down there. Get down there. Let's see if we can get them up there. Oh, the troll hammer torpedoes are firing. I did not know they could fire. Yeah. Let's see if we can just spread them around here. Get them up here this way. There we go. Now they got some armor. Alright. Get our thunderers up on the walls. They still have a good 15 seconds. So we're able to whittle them down. Let's have the heroes go after the enemy vampire. Yeah, we're killing them. Even though they have their reinforcements in, we're still killing them. We're able to concentrate. Yeah, we're able to concentrate on them. Okay, gotta wait a long time before the rune is ready again. But that's okay. Let's augment our thunderers. They're still doing the Lord's work here. Yep, get them down there. Oh, there goes the vampire. He's dead. That's gonna really hamper them, and they're going to start crumbling. If we can, oh yes, now we're hitting them in the back. We've killed at least half of their troops, including their vampire lord. Now they're going to start crumbling. Yeah, they're going to crumble. They'll crumble and be dead. Yeah, once they crumble, we'll take this point here. And then, yeah, they're crumbling over there too. But we have to kill this other lord here, the necromancer, to get them to fully crumble. Like all of them too. Alright, that went really well. They're still aching around, they're still eking around a little bit, but they are crumbling. Yeah, there we go. Yep, they're crumbling. Let's take this point. There we go. Let's go up against them.
Well guarded, thunderers. We'll guard it. We demand blood. We'll guard it for the Karazhan Corps. We'll guard it. Thunderers! We stay put! Joe! Kazook!
Get in there, use. Let's get these guys over here, because then we need to buff them up.
Obey me!
Oh, shit. Is he in combat? No, he's just climbing on the walls. I don't know why, but he is. Whatever.
Slayer King! Slayers!
And the Slayers are doing really well, too. They're still doing really well. Alright. We're trying to get our guys over on this side so they could fire into these guys, do a lot of damage.
The mountain and home!
Let's get these guys over here
Got!
so we can do some more damage to them.
Go!
Alright.
It is a reckoning! Slayers! Strike out!
There we go. Now we have some more armor.
Targets, Lord! Understood, Lord! Shoot! Go! Anu! Ready! Kill hooks! Take them down!
Alright.
Ordnance ready!
I mean, we can still hold our own in melee combat. They know that, right? We're just not going to do as much damage as we would in melee combat.
Slayers!
And then the Slayers are coming through that too. They know that, right? Let's have Ungrim and his Thane go after that Necromancer Lord. Oh, they're going to have the Black Knights come after them. Okay, let's go.
Take aim! Yes! Yes! Slayers!
Okay. Alright.
Kill orcs!
That's cool.
Go through!
That's cool. That's cool. We're still going to kill you.
Iron drakes! Ah, it's about time!
Right, just got to move them a little bit.
Come on!
Let's get our cannons in range.
Lord. This won't miss fire! The next kill is ours!
Alright.
Slayers!
Yeah, they're pretty much crumbling.
Drag the axe!
Let's get this Necromancer. Let's get him.
It is a reckoning! Charge! Slay the Oathbreakers! For the High King! Kill them! Let's settle some grudges! No!
Yeah.
I am the Slayer!
Get him. Get him down. We kill him. His army is not good as gone.
Kazook! Catherine will march!
Get him. Let's get him.
Axes out!
Yeah, he's crumbling. They're all crumbling. Yeah, he's dead. Let's get him. Let's go.
War of vengeance! Vengeance! Plow through! For the ancestor gods!
Did a lot better in this one.
In aim! Or not!
Yeah, both their leaders are gone. So they're going to start crumbling really fast.
Missiles ready! Yeah! Yes! Yes! Kill 'em! Cannon! Deadeye'll get him! Oh, Deadeye'll get him! War of vengeance! The next kill is ours! Phalanx ready! Kazakan, ha! Slayers! Nothing can stop us! Aye, as you command! The clans unite! Attack the earth! The rules blow! War of vengeance! Pump those dwarven legs! Kill them! Attack the orcs! No shoddy contraptions here! Obey me! That'll do!
Yeah, we're starting to really crumble them down. It just takes a long time because it's a siege. You know, that's the only reason why it's taking so dang long is because it's a siege. But, you know, they're starting to really get down to the last men.
For the cannons and go!
Yeah, we ran out of our armor, but we still are crumbling them all.
Gazook! Slayers!
Because we have so much, you know, perfect, you know, so many perfect traits to deal with them. They're trying to take our runesmith down too, and he's just killing them. He's just killing them, and they're sending down all the flying units now. You know, to try to have us get killed by them too.
We demand blood!
I think I'll
Changing target!
open fire on these guys. Yeah, these aren't mortars, so I don't think I'll be able to get into range. Oh, and there we go. They all crumbled to death. All right, so that was a tier 2. I'll see you back on the game map for tier 3. And finally, here we are with a tier 3. So I've done a little bit of, you know, moving around with Ungrim, gotten a lot of kills, gotten a lot of ranks up. So that's why he looks so overpowered compared to the Disciples of Ashut here. But you know, what we're bringing to the table is 4 Ironbreakers. Now I know these aren't anywhere near Slayers, they're the exact opposite, but they're just basically to hold. We bring it just because we're going to be pretty much focusing our entire missile line on explosives and artillery and stuff. Like our artillery, we have a couple Iron Drakes. We do have flame cannons and organ guns, just like normal. But our main line, again, is all Giant Slayers. These guys are insanely powerful. They all get the same traits as before, but they're just buffed up more. They have a lot more weapon strength. They are armor piercing with bonus versus large, and they're insane. So they also have a lot more health pool as well. So they're going to be doing a lot more than like normal Slayers. And of course we have our 3 heroes, and Ungrim himself. He doesn't look like he has that much, but he does have a few nice units that we're going to have to try to take down. So let's get into this battle. Alright, and now just to get a little ground look here. So our Giant Slayers, they just, you know, Slayers are big old axes, and they're really, really good. Again, they don't have any armor. Now they don't have any missile resist either compared to other Slayers. But, you know, the trade-off is the increased weapon damage. So they're not going to do so well against, like, you know, these, you know, archers and all that. But once they get into there, they're going to do so well. And that's what the ranged is for. So the range is for getting through with that. You know, again, these don't have insane range like the other dwarven units, but they still are decent range. So we're going to get moving pretty fast. We're going to have our iron breakers on the side just to, you know, try to whittle them down. And then our Slayers are going to go in for the kill first. And then, of course, we have our tag team of Ungrim and our Thane up in the front. And then in the back, we have our Runesmith and our Engineer to buff. We have our organ guns, which are going to do really good against the enemy infantry. And then our flame cannons as well. So let's, oh, also we have the Iron Drakes on the side, we're going to get them into position to do a lot of damage too. Let's get it on.
Move now! Nothing can stop us! Put those dwarven legs! Iron drakes! Flame cannon! For the ancestor gods! Iron drakes!
No, just deal with them, man.
Iron breakers! Unarmed! Fire on the foe! Nothing can stop us! To the Karazhan Tour! Slay the Oathbreakers! Plow through! Slayers! Let the vengeance begin! Move now! Iron drakes!
Alright, let's use his special ability on these Chaos Dwarves.
Iron breakers!
These Iron Drakes were dead. Yeah, those Bull Centaurs are just insane.
For the ancestors! Withdraw! Owner charged! We demand blood! Off we go! Slayers!
Deal with Astrogoth. Let's deal with him. Oh, that's not good. We need to get them in here. Because they're going to take care. They're going to take out our flame cannons.
The clans unite! Fire, reload, fire! The ancestors watch.
That's the big drawback with this strat. Is just the you know.
Slayers! Bring them! Kill them! Attack the orcs! Gods! Dwarves! Ready access! Ready to serve!
Yeah, get those Bull Centaurs. You gotta get them dead.
Rules of smiting!
I always forget my my Rune Master here. Always forget him.
Iron breakers! War of vengeance!
Come on, let's deal with him.
The Iron Fist speaks! Move now!
Yeah.
Iron Drake! Taking aim! My doom approaches!
Let's go take care of them instead.
Iron breakers! Slayers! Nothing can stop them!
Didn't even have to use our runes. We lost a couple. We got through because the Bull Centaurs. They're really good. They're really good at getting around to the cavalry. So I knew that was going to happen. But we still did pretty good, and our Slayers really lived up to their name. They slayed a lot. They slayed a whole lot of enemies. Alrighty, and normally if it was a more higher tier army, we'd have to play more carefully, but because it was lower tier, didn't have to really play carefully. Could just show how insane these Slayers can be. And, you know, they can easily be a doom stack with Ungrim, but they're still going to suffer once they, you know, once their death blow happens, because they don't rout, they just completely die off. There's a pro and a con to that. So that'll do it with tier 3. Let's wrap this up now, shall we?
I must fulfill my Slayer.
Alrighty, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Looking at the big big angry dwarf guy, the lord of all the Slayers, and the big the big ginger with a soul, Ungrim Ironfist. I hope you guys enjoyed his guide, and you know, I enjoyed making it for you. And you know, he's got a very unique playstyle. and sometimes it can be seen as too aggressive by dwarf standards, but he's very, very good, and he can update, with his Journey's End ability, his Slayers can really outlast most other units. Even if they go down to like completely wiping out, they'll still do a lot more damage to the enemy unit than the enemy unit did to them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and that you guys are able to apply these strats and army compositions into your own campaigns. And I wish you all the best with playing the the spiky mohawked ginger boy himself, Ungrim Ironfist. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This is Colonel Strat signing out. Keep it strategic. Colonel out.